The Joe Rogan Experience.
You know,
It seems like it's very loose. Like there's a lot of room for fuckery.
Calderon era, Bush administration era, there was a lot of stuff going on. Obama administration era, after the whole Fast and the Furious thing, things kind of went dark for a while.
Yeah, explain a lot of people don't know what the Fast and the Furious is. It was they had sold guns to the cartel under the guise that this is the way they would track the guns.
Yes.
It seems so fishy.
Oh, I learned about it from CNN, and a few of my friends were killed with some of those guns down there, which is, everybody talks about the U.S. agent that was in Mexico was killed by some of these guns, but there was a lot of Mexican agents and civilians killed by these guns as well. So there were very specific types of guns. So like imagine somebody giving you a shopping list about types of guns you want, right? Mm-hmm. Including in these lists were 50 cal Barrett rifles and FN-57s, which are it's a pistol with a very high velocity round that goes through soft armor, like the type of stuff that was issued to us, right? So all of a sudden we were seeing these space pistols in the hands of the cartels in very specific parts of the country. We're like,
but what a preposterous idea that they were going to sell it to the cartel so that they could track them.
Well,
like that sounds like horseshit to me. That sounds like someone was trying to make money, and they said, "Oh, we'll just say we're selling it to them to track it."
Well, the suspicious part is that all of them went to one specific cartel, the Sinaloa cartel. So
it sounds like such horseshit. The fact that, who went to jail for that? Eric Holder didn't go to jail.
Oh, he should have.
He should have.
He should have. There's blood. People died. There was and I can't say the name, but somewhere in Baja, a little girl lost her arm. An agent that was a friend of mine got killed, and the wife got killed with FN-57s that are directly related to that whole thing. Right. So
you can go to jail for fucking tax evasion, and this guy can get away with that. Just the idea that you would run that by people and they would go, yeah, good idea.
Yeah,
give them guns.
And to be clear, I don't know the realities of that operation on this side. People say it was happening way before. All I know is that when that happened, nobody told us, and there was definitely some weird resentment on part of the government down there and some people down there, as far as And there was some weird conspiracy theories going on as well down there.
How could there not be?
Yeah.
That seems like it's conspiracy theory right in front of your face.
Yeah.
The fact, oh yeah, we just sold them the drugs or the guns so that we could track them.
Yeah.
No one's going to die. It's not like a bad idea.
The main thing you would hear is people were...
Settlement and Fast and Furious executive privilege lawsuit between DOJ and House.
This is how it ended or wrapped up within the last 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
Really?
It's
this is just wrapping up?
Yeah, just some settlement on March or May 8th.
Because this is from, 9 years ago? 10 years ago?
At least. And the guns are still showing up. So I don't know how many of them, I've never known what numbers, but last time we found some, and I actually have images of the ones we found. They were buried in somebody's backyard inside of a water barrel. And all of them were obviously U.S. Origin guns. And they're like, wow, what do you mean? All of them had very specific accessories on them that nobody else in the world puts these accessories on their guns except the U.S. because they're pretty ridiculous accessories.
Like what kind of accessories?
Things that had letters on them, like "See you in hell" type things on them, and Punisher skulls.
Punisher skulls are the big one, right?
Yeah, and
that is hilarious that a cartoon skull from a Marvel comic book has become a gigantic part of Spec Ops.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty ridiculous. Well, the main rumor down there, like conspiracy theory wise, and you would hear all sorts of things, because down there there's no such thing as top secret clearance in Mexico. There's like, hey, don't say anything. That's about it. So you'd hear crazy things. Main thing was that the U.S. was planning an invasion. They're destabilizing the region so they can put boots on the ground.
Oh Jesus!
That was the like a going conspiracy theory going on.
The U.S. invading Mexico.
Yeah.
How fucking crazy would that be?
Well, as far as a reaction on the side of Mexico, People on, and this is purely speculation and the weird rumors that I would hear. People were planning to poison drug loads on that side to create a health crisis in the U.S. as a reaction. Whoa. Right? And that was pretty, like when I heard it's like, holy, who's talking about this shit, you know? And
So full out war almost.
could be, you know? And then you would try to see, well, who's doing that? You know, the cartels? So the cartels of the government are the same thing? Like, what's going on? You know?
Right.
And again, this is just weird stuff you would hear.
This is a crazy perspective, right? The cartels would poison the drugs to punish the Americans for the military invading the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to create a health crisis in the U.S. So they would, you know, have to go back.
Wow.
I mean, the rumors, you know.
Did they know how many guns they brought over?
I've heard all sorts of numbers. We never got told a
Jamie's got a number. Nearly 2,000 firearms were illegally purchased for $1.5 million, according to the DOJ Inspector General report. Fuck. Hundreds of guns related recovered in the United States and Mexico.
Yeah. 50 cals were. So it's always an escalation with the cartels, right? So they would get AK-47s and we would get German-made G3s that were around the same caliber, and we could fight back, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of our leadership started rolling around in armored vehicles. So let's get 50 cals to, you know, make holes in these armored vehicles. So it's always been an escalation, you know.
Jesus Christ, you guys were getting 50 cal so you could shoot holes in the armored vehicles.
So the cartels were getting them first, and then we had to get them because they were rolling around in armored vehicles. So Mad Max type armored vehicles. They would first they would make them like homemade Mad Max armored vehicles. They found a few. They're online somewhere. One of them was called La Bestia, which is like a giant. All that was missing was the guy with the guitar on the back of it, you know, like Mad Max. And they would use these to roll into town, and like, how would you fight that, you know?
Right.
And then
so you had to get a 50 cal,
or get the military to shoot them from the sky. You know?
Oh my God!
Yeah, there's a famous video from somewhere down in Mexico where they shoot a Vulcan rifle down at a cartel member in a car, an armored vehicle. But then you see, checkmate government against the cartel. But then you realize that the cartels, like the new generation cartels in Guadalajara, have actually downed helicopters in Guadalajara, military helicopters, because they have anti-aircraft capabilities.
Jesus Christ!
So then you're like checkmate cartels. You know, that's how.
Where does this go? Like where? I mean, how far does it escalate?
That's the thing that, you know, you have to think about. So killing and death is not at the industrial level that is being done in Mexico. Not just killing, but, you know, disappearing bodies, making bodies disappear. I was around when they got the stew maker. The stew maker was a guy that worked for the Sinaloa cartel in Tijuana, and he would get rid of bodies using caustic soda, right? So he would get bodies every night, and he had these industrial level just barrels of it just going.
What is caustic soda?
It's a chemical mixture. Yeah, you can get most of the components at a hardware store. Basically, it dissolves bodies. You know, and he would get some of this mixture. He said in interviews that he got trained by Israelis how to do that. So who knows if that's true or not. But in the night, he said he would get rid of, you know, dozens of bodies, and this gets rid of everything. You know, DNA, bone, everything. So there's a lot of families in Mexico that are looking for their kids for years, and there's just no way of giving them a body. And the amount of youth that goes into cartel work and just gets, you know, killed there. It's whole generations and whole towns of women and old men. You know, they're out there, which is like whole generations just gone. You know, all the men are gone. I've gone to a few small towns where like they looked at me like youth, you know, a young man. It's like
so it's rare.
Some places it is
because the men are all getting killed,
all getting got in the you know, in the cartel operations and killed or just recruited. You know, forcefully recruited or, you know, voluntarily recruited, but, you know, whole generations just wiped out.